1955, Southampton was a bit of a wild place. There was a hell of a lot of teenagers, and we just discovered rock and roll. And music was a big part of all the kids' lives, you know.
The main thing that really kicked it off was a film about the schools in America called Blackboard Jungle. And it was preceded and finished with a Bill Haley record, Rock Around the Clock. And this, combined with the actual theme of the film, was electric.
I mean, you just take it for granted now, but at the time when there was all this smoochy music on, you know, on the radio, and then suddenly to have Elvis Presley coming on, it was like something from outer space.
The lads on the boats were bringing these records over from America.
Merchant seamen, they were the guys that came back with all the gear, and it was through the merchant seamen. And same with the music.
You didn't have to have expensive instruments or even any tutorship of music lessons or anything like that.
I'd seen Lonnie Donegan on television, and we started a little scuff with a T-chest bass, a washboard, and it was rubbish, you know, but in retrospect, then we thought we were great.
A guitarist called Bert Whedon, he brought out a book called Play in a Day, which was almost true. We could learn our 3 chords, which is all we needed, and you had everything you wanted to build a band.
But when I was at art college, I discovered this thing called a guitar, and then electric guitar.
Well, rock and roll was the big thing then, you know. So I got down to the pier, and I met this little coloured boy that I knew, and we went down the pier, and he said, "There's a band rehearsing down, and let's walk in." And we went into the pavilion there, and he went up to the manager and asked the manager if I could sing, and I said, "I can't sing," I said to him. He said, "Yeah, get up there, we'll listen to see what you like." And I got up and done a couple of Elvis Presley numbers, and they was made up, and that's how it all started, you know.
In those days you have to have an outfit, you had to all dress the same, because this is the way that the bands did. And the simplest thing for us was some black trousers and a black shirt. So being all in black, we thought Black Jacks, and that's what we called ourselves, so it worked.
My first night, when I first started, was over Woolston, a Pear Tree Hall. And I came on in short pants, no socks and shoes. I was tanned, nice tan I had on me, and a string vest. And when the curtains went open, the crowd went crazy, you know. They didn't know what was happening. They said, "This is Elvis Presley on stage from South Africa." That's what I was, you know, billed as.
Part of my act, I used to do a Gene Vincent takeoff. Now, me being black and Gene Vincent being white, you know, but people didn't take any notice. I got the leather jacket, the leather trousers, the boots, the glove, the big medallion, and I remember we were doing this thing, and the girls were screaming Gene. And how odd is that? But the crowd went magic.
It was pretty hectic, because we all had full-time jobs, of course, at that time, and we'd leave in the evening and bundle into an old clapped-out dormobile and go scooting off all over the place, play the gigs, get back about 2 or 3 in the morning, and tumble into bed and get up and go to work again the next day.
You should sleep in the van sometimes just to save a bit of money.
But we used to stay in unbelievably grotty hotels or sleep on golf courses, beaches or anywhere else.
You sort of wake up in the morning, go down to the nearest cafe and have a big breakfast, you know. And that used to wake you up, and then you get ready for the next evening and so on.
When we were on tour, we would drive into a town and find a big billboard and find we were actually playing with some big names at the time, which was very exciting.
So we ended up in the Star Club in Hamburg with the Beatles. Well, we didn't know the Beatles. I thought Beatles a Beatle, you know, a little black thing.
We played Germany and signed a contract with CBS Records for an album and 2 singles. Yeah, we got a lot of work out of it. We did a lot of TV. We even had our own radio series in Frankfurt, which was great.
Me and Paul flipped the coin up to see who went on first, and we won. So we went on first, so we opened the Star Club up, really. And then the Beatles came behind us, and so on and so on.
And this guy came up to sing it. He said, "Are you Ricky Brown?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Could I have a word with you in the dressing room?" I said, "Yeah, man." He went in the dressing room, he said, "Could you write a list of all the songs you do?" "Oh, no, write all the Ricky Brown songs." I said, "But they're not my songs, they're covers, you know." He said, "No," he said, "everybody's asking for Ricky Brown songs." So I made a list of about 30, 40 songs. I said, "What's your name, man?" He said, "Van Morrison."
Touring other major cities which are well known for producing top bands, we did notice there was a probably more passion for music generally. There was more people doing music, there was more clubs.
And once you've got somebody like the Beatles in Liverpool making it, you've got all the other Liverpool groups, of course, having a go themselves.
I think the standard of living in Liverpool, Manchester, places like was a little bit lower than it was in Southampton. I'm not saying everybody in Southampton was really well off, but I think they were a little bit better off than other places, yeah.
Look at Epstein, he had money. That's how the Beatles got big. And Epstein kept pushing. He went to London all the time, to the record companies. In the end, he got the break. He had the break.
Even though we didn't achieve the big one, if you actually look at the body of work that Southampton produced with the group scene, it was quite enormous.
I'd still love to make it. Who wouldn't? You know, after I figured I've done my apprenticeship. I'd like to be the oldest Indian in the hit parade. They could put that on my tombstone.
And it's difficult to believe that I actually did it at this stage. To stand and watch these idols on the screen and then on the stage, and then literally within months you're up there doing it yourself, and you're just carried along with it without thinking, really, probably just as well.